When you think about yourself first, you build the strength to give your best to the world. Thinking about yourself is not selfish. It's necessary for your happiness. Your future depends on how much you believe in yourself today. What if you stopped putting everyone else first and started truly thinking about yourself every single day? What if the way you treat yourself today decides how strong and confident you feel tomorrow? How often do you pause and ask if your actions really show how much you matter? What if the key to living a happier and more fulfilling life is right in front of you, but you've been ignoring it? This isn't about selfishness or ignoring others. It's about recognizing your own value and making choices that reflect your worth. Imagine waking up every morning knowing that your time, energy, and decisions all serve your growth and peace. What would change if you committed to that for yourself? This video will challenge you to rethink how you live and encourage you to act in ways that prove your importance, not just in words, but in every step you take. Now let's dive in. Number 1, make your growth the top priority every single day. Every day you wake up is a decision to move forward or to stay exactly where you were. Growth is not something that happens automatically. It doesn't show up just because time passes. It happens because you make a choice to put yourself first, to push yourself forward, and to demand more from your own life. If you don't make your growth the top priority, no one else will. Because truthfully, people are too focused on their own lives to worry about whether you rise or fall. That responsibility belongs to you. Growth starts with awareness. It begins the moment you ask yourself, where am I today and where do I want to be? You don't need to compare your journey to someone else's. You just need to measure your progress against your own past. Are you stronger than you were yesterday? Are you more disciplined? Are you more focused? Those are the questions that shape the person you become. You must become serious about what you want. You must treat your growth like it matters, because it does. It affects everything. It affects how you show up in relationships. It affects how you handle stress. It affects how you walk into a room, how you speak, how you think, and how you lead. And it starts with placing your growth before distractions, before comfort, before opinions, and before temporary pleasures that give you nothing in return. People often wait. They wait for the right time, the right person, the perfect conditions, but nothing about growth waits. Growth is uncomfortable. Growth is demanding. And growth doesn't care if you're tired or discouraged or scared. It only responds when you take action. Every single day you must do something that pushes you forward. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be real. Read one chapter, have that hard conversation. Wake up a little earlier. Make that decision you've been avoiding. Little steps forward, repeated daily, create unstoppable change. Your life reflects your standards. If you accept low effort from yourself, you will get low results. If you demand better from yourself, you will rise. That's how it works. And no one can raise those standards for you. You must do it. You must look in the mirror and say, I expect more from myself, because when you raise your expectations, you raise your actions. And when you raise your actions, your life follows. People may not understand your hunger. They may question your priorities. That's fine. This is your journey. Growth is not about being accepted. It's about becoming stronger, wiser, clearer, more capable. If you don't focus on your growth, the world will distract you. It will pull you into things that waste your time and drain your energy. You have to guard your mind and protect your focus. You have to treat your time like it's valuable, because it is. If you spend your time giving all your energy to others and leave nothing for yourself, you will lose your power. You will feel stuck. You will start to live by default instead of by design. And when you grow, you inspire others to grow too. You won't need to say anything. They'll see it in the way you move. They'll hear it in the way you speak. They'll feel it in the way you carry yourself. Because a person who grows every day walks differently. They speak from experience, not theory. They lead with presence, not noise. But it starts by making your own growth your highest priority. There will be days when you feel tired. There will be days when nothing seems to change. That's part of the path. Growth is not about instant results. It's about consistency. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it. Anyone can act when they're motivated, Few will act when they're exhausted, when they're doubting themselves, when they're unsure. But those who do are the ones who rise. Be honest with yourself. Are you doing what you know you need to do? Are you stretching yourself? Are you learning? Are you improving the way you think? Because life doesn't reward you for what you know. It rewards you for what you apply. Knowledge is only useful when it becomes action. If you're not growing, you're repeating. And if you're repeating, you're falling behind. Not because others are ahead, but because you're standing still while life keeps moving. You don't need motivation. You need responsibility. You need to wake up with the mindset that you are responsible for where you are and where you're going. That kind of thinking changes everything. It forces you to stop blaming. It forces you to stop waiting. It forces you to start owning your direction. That's the beginning of real growth. Not wishing for better, but building better. When you make your growth the top priority, everything else improves with it. Your confidence grows. Your relationships improve. Your self-respect rises. You begin to say no to the things that steal your peace. You stop chasing approval. You stop settling. You start choosing what serves your future, not just what pleases you in the moment. You must be willing to disappoint others before you disappoint yourself. That's part of growth. That's part of thinking about yourself first. It's not selfish. It's necessary. Because if you're not full, you cannot give. If you're not strong, you cannot carry others. You must take care of your energy. You must guard your focus. You must choose what builds you, not what breaks you. And you must keep going even when no one claps for you. Even when no one sees your effort. Because you see it. And that is enough. Every morning ask yourself, what will I do today to become stronger? Every night ask yourself, what did I do today that made me better? That simple daily check-in creates a powerful life. It puts you in charge. It makes you conscious of your direction. It makes your life intentional. Most people live on autopilot. They do what they've always done. They think what they've always thought. And then they wonder why nothing changes. But you are choosing differently. You are choosing growth. That choice comes with sacrifice. You will have to give up comfort. You will have to walk away from distractions. You will have to take ownership of your time. But the reward is worth it. The reward is seeing yourself evolve. The reward is building a life that reflects who you really are. That is worth every bit of effort. You have this one life. This one opportunity to become who you are capable of being. Don't waste it living for other people. Don't waste it trapped in fear. Don't waste it stuck in the past. Use it. Use every single day to build something better, something stronger, something you can be proud of. And it starts by deciding that your growth is not optional. It is the most important thing you can do, every single day. Number 2. Focus only on what makes you truly feel alive. There comes a time when you have to ask yourself what this life is really about for you, not for your parents, not for your friends, not for the people you're trying to please, but for you, what pulls something deep from inside you, what wakes you up with energy instead of exhaustion, what fills you with clarity instead of confusion. That is what you must pay attention to. That is what you must build your life around. Because this life is too short and too unpredictable to waste on things that drain your soul. Most people live distracted. They go through the motions. They wake up, go to work, come home, scroll through their phone and repeat. They feel empty, but they don't stop to ask why. They keep saying they'll figure it out later, but later doesn't come. What they don't realize is that every day spent ignoring what makes you feel alive is a day taken from the life you could have lived. A life that had purpose. A life that made sense. A life that meant something to you. The truth is, no one can tell you what that thing is. No one can hand you your meaning. You have to find it yourself. And that means being honest. What do you love doing even when no one is watching? What lights you up even when you're tired? What makes you feel like yourself when the world gets loud? When you focus only on that, everything begins to change. You stop forcing yourself to fit in. You stop pretending. You stop tolerating things that make you feel smaller. It takes courage to live that way. Because the world has its own script for you. It tells you to follow the crowd, to be reasonable, to stay safe. But staying safe often means staying stuck. Playing it small might protect you from failure, but it also keeps you from ever feeling fully alive. The moment you choose to follow your own voice, people might question you. They might not understand your choices, but that's not your job. Your job is to live in a way that makes sense to your soul. When you follow what brings you to life, your energy shifts. You no longer need to push yourself through the day. You begin to pull yourself forward because there's something waiting for you. There's something you want to give. There's something you want to build. And that gives you power. Not the kind of power that comes from controlling people or things. The kind that comes from being fully connected to who you are. You will notice the difference in how you think. You won't need to escape your life with distractions. You won't need to numb yourself with habits that only waste time. You will want to show up. You will want to create. You will want to be present. And when you are fully present, you experience things deeply. You listen better. You speak more clearly. You feel more grounded. But to live this way, you have to be willing to let go of what doesn't make you feel alive. That means saying no. Saying no to things that drain your energy. Saying no to people who constantly bring you down. Saying no to routines that steal your joy. This isn't about being selfish. It's about being responsible. Because when you give your time to things that don't matter to you, you're stealing time from the things that do. Start paying attention to your reactions. Notice where you feel excitement and where you feel tension. Notice who lifts your spirit and who leaves you feeling heavy. Notice what activities give you peace and which ones leave you more anxious. These signals are not small. They are your compass. They are showing you where to go. But you have to listen. You have to stop brushing them off. You have to stop acting like your happiness is a luxury. It's not, it's a necessity. You weren't meant to survive your life. You were meant to live it. You were meant to be engaged, curious, and passionate. You were meant to explore, to grow, to create, to contribute. But none of that can happen if you're constantly stuck in what feels lifeless. What makes you feel alive will challenge you. It will stretch you. It will ask more from you, but it will also give back. It will give back clarity. It will give back strength. It will give back a sense of purpose that nothing else can provide. It's easy to talk about these things. It's easy to say follow your passion, but the real work comes in the choices you make. You have to stop delaying. You have to stop saying someday. Someday turns into never. Start small if you have to. Spend 10 minutes a day doing what you love. Spend 1 hour a week exploring what calls to you. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to begin. The more you align with what brings you to life, the more your path will unfold in front of you. And no, not every moment will be thrilling. Not every day will be perfect. But when the foundation of your life is built on what matters to you, even the struggles make sense. Even the hard days have meaning. Because you know why you're doing it. You know it's for something real. That sense of meaning is what carries you through discomfort. It gives you strength when motivation fades. It gives you direction when things get hard. And as you stay on that path, something else happens. You become more authentic. You stop needing to prove yourself. You stop chasing approval. You become more real, more grounded. And that makes your presence more powerful. People begin to feel it when they're around you. They may not be able to explain it, but they know you are living from a deeper place. And that inspires them, without effort, without trying, just by being who you are. This is why thinking about yourself is not selfish. It is essential, because when you do what makes you feel alive, you bring your best self to the world. You have more to give. You have more clarity. You have more purpose. But that only happens when you stop trying to be everything for everyone and start becoming everything for yourself. Look at your life. What are you doing out of obligation? What are you doing just to fit in? What are you doing because it's expected? Then ask yourself what you would do if no one was watching. What would you chase if failure didn't scare you? What would you give your life to if you knew it would matter? That's where you begin. Not with what's easy, but with what's real. Because the real work of life is not about impressing others. It's not about achieving someone else's version of success. It's about building a life that speaks to your soul. one choice at a time, one day at a time, one honest decision at a time. That's how you build a life that feels fully lived. One where you don't have to escape or numb or apologize. One where you wake up with direction and go to bed with peace. And it all starts when you focus only on what makes you truly feel alive. Number 3. Stand firm for your values no matter who leaves. There is a moment in life when you are tested not by failure or loss, but by pressure. The pressure to bend. The pressure to please. The pressure to compromise who you are, just to keep someone beside you. But if you ever trade your values for acceptance, you pay a price that's far too high. Because what you lose is not just your voice, it's your core, it's your peace, and eventually, it's your self-respect. When you stand for your values, you might lose some people, but you won't lose yourself. You must decide early on what you believe in, not based on trends or opinions or what others want from you, but what you know is right deep down. Those principles must be built from thought, reflection, and honesty. When you know your values, you have something strong to stand on when life begins to shake, and it will. There will be moments when your values make others uncomfortable. There will be times when someone walks away because your standards don't match their convenience. That's not a failure. That's a filter. Real strength is not found in how many people agree with you. Real strength is in how clearly you hold your ground when others start pulling away. When your values are clear, your decisions become easier. You stop feeling confused every time someone disagrees. You stop trying to explain yourself just to be liked. You start living from a place of clarity, a place where you don't need constant approval to feel worthy. Because deep inside you know who you are and what you stand for. People will try to talk you out of what matters to you. Not always because they mean harm. Sometimes because they're afraid to live that honestly themselves. When you speak up for your beliefs, it reminds them of the truth they've been avoiding, and that can make people uncomfortable. But that's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to honor what you know is right, even when it's not easy. Even when it gets lonely. Even when you feel the sting of being misunderstood. There will be times when you are faced with decisions that challenge your values. You might be offered a shortcut that goes against your principles. You might face pressure to stay quiet when you know you should speak up. These moments shape your future. These moments define your character. If you give in just to keep peace, you will never know real peace within. And once you start compromising once, it becomes easier to do it again. That's how people slowly drift away from who they are. Standing firm doesn't mean you're stubborn. It means you're anchored. It means you know what matters most, and you don't trade that for temporary approval. It's not about being right all the time. It's about being real all the time. And when you're real, you attract people who value truth over comfort. People who respect honesty even when it's hard to hear. That's how you build meaningful relationships. Ones rooted in mutual respect instead of shallow convenience. Sometimes standing for your values means losing people you care about. That hurts. That will test your heart. But you must ask yourself, do I want people in my life who only stay when I agree with them? Or do I want people who stay because they respect me, even when we see things differently? Loyalty should never depend on your silence. If someone leaves because you live with conviction, then that was never real loyalty to begin with. Your values are your inner guardrails. They protect you from drifting too far from your true path. When things get confusing, they guide your actions. When you feel pressure, they give you strength. But they only work when you honor them. When you ignore them to fit in or be liked, you begin to feel the tension inside. You may look calm on the outside, but you'll feel the weight of betraying your truth. That is not a burden worth carrying. Life will test your boundaries. Friends might pressure you to do things that don't align with your beliefs. Work may demand that you go along with things that don't feel right. People might push you to accept behavior that violates your peace. Each time you'll have to choose. Do I lower my standards to keep the connection? Or do I stand firm even if it means standing alone? You already know the answer. The question is whether you have the courage to live it. Courage isn't loud. Sometimes it's the quiet decision to walk away from something that doesn't honor your truth. It's the calm, steady refusal to participate in what you know is wrong. It's the strength to sit in silence when others gossip. It's the resolve to say no without apology. Those moments matter. Those decisions shape who you become. And over time, they build a life that feels solid and whole. People might not always understand your choices. Some may call you difficult. Others may call you rigid. Let them, because the only label that matters is the one you give yourself when you look in the mirror. And if you can look at yourself and know you didn't sell out, know you didn't betray what you believe, just to make someone stay, that's worth more than anything you lost. Living with values brings peace, not because life becomes easier, but because you're no longer fighting with yourself. You no longer feel the need to explain every decision. You don't feel pulled in 10 directions. You're centered, grounded, aligned. That doesn't mean you'll never feel doubt or struggle, but your foundation will hold you steady. You will learn to walk away from things that no longer fit, not with bitterness, but with peace. It's easy to say you have values. It's another thing to live them when it costs you. When it costs you approval. When it costs you comfort. When it costs you connection. That's when you know it's real. That's when you know you're living from a place of strength, not fear. You were not meant to shape yourself around every situation. You were meant to stand as someone others can trust. Someone who speaks with clarity. Someone who lives with depth. In the end, your values are not for show. They are not for performance. They are the foundation for how you treat people, how you handle setbacks, how you make decisions when no one is watching. And when you live by them fully, you start to feel free, because you're not being pulled in 100 directions. You're not performing. You're just being. And that kind of peace is something no one can give you. It's something you build within, one honest decision at a time. Number 4. Invest energy into healing what you still carry inside. There is no reward in carrying pain like a badge. There is no strength in pretending you're fine when deep down you are holding on to things that still hurt. Growth begins the moment you decide to stop hiding from what's unfinished within you. Not everything that wounded you was your fault, but healing it is still your responsibility. You cannot live fully if you are dragging emotional weight from the past into every day. If you want to move forward, you must first stop and face what you've tried to bury. The truth is, time does not heal all wounds. What heals is your willingness to face those wounds and work through them. Healing asks for honesty. It asks for courage. It asks you to look inward and admit what you've avoided. That takes effort, not avoidance. It takes intention, not distraction. When you invest your energy into healing, you're not wasting time. You're reclaiming it. Every minute you spend understanding yourself better is a minute that builds peace, clarity, and strength inside you. You have to make space to feel. Stop pushing everything down. Stop pretending it didn't matter. What happened to you mattered. What you felt mattered. But now, what matters most is what you do with it. Will you carry the weight forever, or will you unpack it, piece by piece, and choose to lighten your heart? Nobody else can do that for you. People can support you, but only you can sit with your own thoughts and start the process of mending what's torn. When you invest in healing, you're not being weak, you're being wise. It takes much more courage to sit with your truth than it does to run from it. You might feel angry, you might feel tired, you might feel lost. All of that is okay. Healing is not a straight path, it's a daily decision. Some days you'll feel like you're making progress. Other days you'll feel like nothing's changing. But the work is still happening. Every moment you give yourself time to reflect is part of the process. There are parts of your story that may still sting. There may be memories that trigger discomfort. You might still carry blame for things that were never yours to hold. But if you don't release that weight, it becomes part of your identity. It starts to shape how you see yourself. It influences how you treat others. It interferes with your ability to be present. That's why healing is not optional. It's essential. It's how you return to yourself after pain has pulled you away. Start by being honest about what still hurts. You don't need to broadcast it. You just need to stop denying it. Speak it out loud in your own space. Write it down if you need to. Feel what you've been numbing. Then start asking questions. Where did this come from? What do I need to forgive? What truth have I been ignoring? Healing starts with those questions. Not with answers, but with the bravery to ask. Your mind will begin to open once you stop trying to shut everything out. You have the power to change your inner world, not by pretending the past didn't happen, but by choosing how you respond to it today. Maybe you were hurt by someone who never apologized. Maybe you faced loss that you never expected. Maybe you lived through situations that still echo in your mind. Those things don't define you, but if you never process them, they'll continue to affect how you live. Healing is not forgetting, it's transforming the pain into wisdom. One of the most important steps is to stop blaming yourself for everything. You did what you knew at the time. You coped the best way you could. Now that you know better, you can begin to do better. Self-forgiveness is not a weakness. It's a strength. It means you're ready to stop punishing yourself for surviving. It means you're ready to let go of guilt that no longer serves you. You cannot grow if you keep reliving shame. You cannot be free if you keep replaying judgment. Start treating yourself like someone you want to heal. Speak kindly to yourself. Take care of your body. Give your mind rest. Give your emotions space. When you feel overwhelmed, pause. When you feel numb, check in. Ask yourself what you need. This is not selfish. This is necessary. The more you show up for your healing, the more energy you'll have for everything else. You won't need to act strong. You'll feel strong. Not because nothing hurts anymore, but because you've faced it and kept going. Healing also means setting boundaries. You can't recover in the same environment that broke you. If someone triggers your old wounds and refuses to change, distance may be necessary. Protect your peace. You don't owe your energy to people who harm it. If your past taught you to stay quiet, now is the time to speak up. If your history made you feel small, now is the time to reclaim space. The healing path asks you to rebuild where something was broken, and build it stronger this time. You don't need to rush the process. You don't need to be fully healed to live fully. You just need to be committed to doing the inner work. That work is not loud. It's not flashy. It's the quiet decision to face your feelings. It's the choice to sit in discomfort without running. It's the strength to cry when you need to. It's the clarity that comes after the storm. That's what creates a new inner foundation. And once that foundation is in place, you'll see everything around you differently. People who invest in their healing walk lighter. They speak softer, but their presence is stronger. They no longer overreact to small things because they've made peace with deeper ones. They stop looking for validation outside because they've found it inside. You can become that person, not by avoiding the pain, but by finally tending to it. That's the power you hold. You can take the hardest parts of your story and turn them into the most valuable parts of your strength. Don't wait for someone else to come fix what you feel. Don't expect the world to heal you. That job belongs to you. And once you take it seriously, once you start pouring time and energy into that process, you'll notice something. You'll stop repeating the same cycles. You'll stop attracting the same hurt. You'll begin to move differently, speak differently, think differently, because you've changed. Not because life got easier, but because you got clearer. Healing is the greatest investment you will ever make in yourself, not just for today, but for every day that follows. When you start doing the inner work, your outer world starts to respond. You show up with more calm, more presence, more clarity, not because you're perfect, not because nothing hurts anymore, but because you've taken the time to sit with your pain and turn it into understanding. That changes everything. That changes you. Number 5. Take full control of your life without apology. There comes a point when you must stop asking for permission to live. If you're going to build something meaningful with your time here, you've got to stop shrinking to make others comfortable. The moment you decide that your life is yours is the moment everything changes. You can no longer wait for people to understand you. You cannot keep slowing down to meet others where they refuse to grow. Taking full control of your life means making decisions because they are right for you, not because they please everyone else. When you live without apology, it doesn't mean you're careless. It means you've chosen to honor yourself. It means you've taken a good look at what matters most and said, "This is what I need. This is who I am." That kind of strength is built, not given. You build it by standing firm in your decisions, even when people question them. You build it by choosing your direction, instead of following someone else's idea of what your life should be. It starts when you stop blaming your past. Your circumstances may have shaped you, but they do not control you. It's easy to stay in the mindset of this is just the way it is. But the truth is, nothing changes until you do. If you don't like where your life is, take the wheel. If your habits are stealing your time, change them. If your environment is draining your energy, step out of it. Nobody else will hand you freedom. You have to take it with intention. People may not support your choices when you begin to take control. Some may misunderstand you. Others may pull away. That's part of the process. If you want to grow, you must accept that not everyone can grow with you. Taking control often requires you to walk away from what no longer fits. That might include people, patterns, or places you once depended on. But here's the truth. If it's holding you back, it's already costing you more than you think. You do not need to explain your every move. You are not here to earn approval from people who refuse to understand your goals. If they can't accept your growth, they are free to step aside. You are allowed to choose your peace over their opinions. You are allowed to say no without guilt. You are allowed to move forward without dragging the weight of unnecessary expectations. Control begins with responsibility. It's not about controlling everything that happens. It's about choosing how you respond. Life doesn't give you guarantees, but it does give you options. You choose how you spend your time. You choose what you focus on. You choose who you keep close. If something is not working, you choose whether it continues. That kind of control is powerful because it puts your growth in your hands, not someone else's. Too many people live like passengers. They wait for the right moment. They hope for someone to rescue them. They wait for a sign, but life responds to action. If you want something to change, you have to make that change happen. Waiting is not a strategy. Hoping is not a plan. Take the first step, and then the second, even if nobody claps for you, even if nobody understands. Because your future is not built on their approval, it's built on your decisions. Stop apologizing for wanting more. Stop apologizing for being different. If your life is going to mean something to you, it has to reflect your values, not someone else's version of success. If you keep chasing what pleases others, you'll keep losing yourself. The world doesn't need another person who sacrifices their potential for comfort. It needs people who are bold enough to live true to themselves, even when it's uncomfortable. Taking control also means taking care of your mind. Feed it with clarity. Remove the noise. Get honest about what you believe and why. Are your beliefs building you or holding you back? Are your habits pushing you forward or keeping you stuck? When you take full responsibility for what you allow in your head, you start to see the way forward. You stop being reactive. You start making choices with intention, not impulse. You have to stop making excuses. Life isn't waiting. Time is moving with or without your effort. If you keep saying one day, it becomes no day. If you keep blaming others for where you are, you'll stay exactly where you are. Owning your life means owning your choices, every one of them. Even the mistakes. Especially the mistakes. Because that's where the real power is. When you own it all, you can change it all. You were not born to live someone else's life. You are not here to be a copy. You are here to stand tall in your own identity. You are here to use your voice, your choices, your mind, and your heart. That means being brave enough to take up space. That means standing for what you believe in, even when you're standing alone. When you live like that, you stop fearing rejection. You stop needing validation. You begin to trust yourself. That's what real control feels like. You might not have all the answers today. You might not have everything figured out. That's not the point. The point is deciding that from now on you're not going to leave your life up to chance. You're not going to let others steer your direction. You are going to step into the role of the driver. you are going to make decisions based on what serves your growth. And you're going to do it without shame, without regret, without apology. You are not obligated to stay the same. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to want more, need more, expect more. And you do not need to soften your desire just because others are uncomfortable with your ambition. Your life belongs to you. That's the truth. That's the starting point. And once you really accept that, you stop waiting and start creating. You stop explaining and start living. Don't let fear of judgment hold your future hostage. People will talk either way. Let them. While they talk, you move. While they doubt, you build. While they criticize, you grow. That's what taking control looks like. It's not loud, it's consistent. It's rooted in purpose. And it doesn't need anyone's permission. You owe yourself the life that only you can build. One where your days are filled with what matters to you. One where your values shape your direction. One where you wake up knowing that whatever happens next, you're the one choosing the path. That kind of life takes courage. It takes clarity. But most of all, it takes action. Not someday today. Number 6. Walk away from anything that disrespects your worth. You don't need to tolerate what wounds you. You don't have to accept what constantly lowers your value. Life is too short and too important to keep staying in places where you feel less than who you truly are. When someone or something makes you feel small, unimportant, or invisible, it is not your job to fix it. It is your responsibility to protect your sense of worth. Walking away is not weakness. It is strength. It is clarity. It is self-respect in action. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow. If you keep showing up for those who never show up for you, you're sending the message that your time and energy are not valuable. If you constantly make excuses for the way someone treats you, you are betraying your own worth. Your dignity should never be up for debate. If it is, that environment is already too costly to stay in. You are not here to convince anyone of your value. You are here to live it. You are here to walk like you matter, to speak like your voice counts, to exist without shrinking. The moment something or someone starts making you feel like a burden, an option, or an afterthought, that is the moment to reassess, not justify. You were not created to be overlooked. You were made to live with confidence in your worth. There are times when the most powerful thing you can do is leave, not with anger, not with bitterness, but with peace in your heart and a decision in your mind. When you walk away from anything that disrespects your worth, you are telling yourself, I matter. I will not stay where I'm diminished. That is a statement of self-trust. That is a mark of emotional maturity. That is growth. You owe it to yourself to not settle for treatment that drains your spirit, whether it's a toxic friendship, a one-sided relationship, a demeaning workplace, or even an internal voice that constantly doubts you. Anything that devalues you does not belong in your life. And the longer you stay, the more you start to believe the lies it tells you. That's the danger. You begin to confuse disrespect with normalcy. And once that happens, you start lowering your standards to survive instead of raising them to thrive. It takes courage to walk away, especially when you've invested time, energy, and emotion, especially when you've told yourself maybe it will change. But here's something honest. If it's been long enough and the pattern continues, it's not going to change in your favor. And deep down you know that. You know what it feels like to be valued, and you know what it feels like to be tolerated. You know the difference between growth and control. Don't ignore what your gut has been whispering. When you stay in places that disrespect you, you slowly lose parts of yourself. Your peace is chipped away. Your confidence fades. Your dreams get quieter. But the moment you remove yourself, you begin to heal. Your strength returns. Your clarity sharpens. You make room for the right things to enter. But none of that can happen until you leave the space where you're constantly questioned, criticized, or dismissed. It's not selfish to walk away. It's necessary. Protecting your worth is not about being rude. It's about being responsible. When you allow disrespect, you allow damage. You set the tone for your life by what you accept. So choose to walk toward environments where you feel heard, valued, and safe. Choose to protect your mental and emotional space like it matters, because it does. You don't need a perfect reason to walk away. Feeling diminished is reason enough. You don't have to wait for someone to give you permission to leave. Your peace of mind is your permission. Your well-being is your permission. When you know you're not being honored, that's enough. Don't waste years trying to explain your worth to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Value is not just a feeling. It's a decision. It's what you tolerate. It's what you accept as normal. And if something makes you doubt yourself constantly, that is not love. That is not loyalty. And that is not where you belong. The world is wide. There are places and people where your presence will be appreciated, but you'll never find them if you keep sitting in the wrong room. Sometimes what holds us back is not fear of leaving. It's fear of being alone. But here's the truth. Being alone and respected is better than being surrounded and disrespected. Your value is not tied to being chosen. Your worth is not defined by who stays. You deserve relationships where you don't have to explain why you matter, where you don't have to earn kindness, where you're accepted as you are, not as someone else wants you to be. Walking away isn't about proving a point to others. It's about proving a point to yourself. It's about saying, I will not allow myself to be treated as if I don't matter. That's a decision that echoes into every part of your life. It impacts how you show up in the world. It shifts what you attract. It changes how you see yourself. When you begin to set higher standards, the world will test you. People will try to see if you mean it. They'll question your choices. They'll ask why you changed. But don't be discouraged by their confusion. You're not responsible for their comfort. You're responsible for your growth. And growth requires boundaries. Growth requires distance from anything that threatens your self-esteem. You are worthy of kindness that doesn't come with conditions. You are worthy of love that lifts instead of drains. You are worthy of respect that isn't earned by suffering. Don't convince yourself to stay in pain just because you're used to it. Discomfort is not proof of love. Chaos is not a test of loyalty. If it cost you your peace, it is too expensive. You don't need to carry guilt for walking away. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is step back and say, this no longer aligns with who I am. That statement doesn't require permission. It requires truth. The more honest you are about what hurts, the more freedom you give yourself to heal. And in that healing, you remember your worth. There will be moments when you'll miss the familiarity, even the flawed comfort. That's normal, but don't confuse familiarity with value. Just because something feels familiar doesn't mean it's good for you. Just because something has history doesn't mean it deserves your future. You are allowed to let go of what once felt like home, if it no longer feels safe. The only approval you truly need is your own. When you honor your worth, you begin to build a life that reflects it. You start to fill your days with things that nurture instead of deplete. You become more honest about what you need, and less tolerant of what you don't. That kind of life may not be easy, but it's real. It's grounded, and it gives you the space to grow without fear. Number 7. Put your mental peace before anyone's expectations today. If there's one decision that can change the quality of your life starting now, it is choosing your mental peace over the noise of what others want from you. Every day you wake up, people will have plans for your time. They will offer opinions about what you should be doing, how you should behave, and how you should live. But if you don't stop and check in with yourself, really check in, you'll end up living a version of life that pleases everyone else and destroys you quietly from the inside. You don't owe your mental space to everyone who has a voice. You don't have to sacrifice your peace to satisfy someone's timeline, their ideals, or their image of who you should be. Expectations can come from family, friends, colleagues, or even strangers, but none of that matters if deep down you are drained, anxious, and restless. Your peace matters more than their comfort. When you go to sleep at night, it's your thoughts you're alone with. It's your emotions you feel. It's your inner state that determines whether you rest peacefully or wrestle with invisible weight. External validation might silence the pressure for a moment, but it won't erase the conflict inside. If your soul is unsettled, it doesn't matter how many people applaud what you're doing. If your mind is screaming for a break, It doesn't matter how proud someone else is of your sacrifices. People can tell you what success looks like. They can hand you standards they believe are right, but no one can feel your stress, your overwhelm, or your loneliness. That's why putting your mental peace first isn't selfish, it's necessary. It is your duty to stay aligned with what feels calm, clear, and grounded. And the truth is, sometimes that means disappointing others. Sometimes that means saying no to requests, expectations, or even dreams that don't belong to you. There's no peace in living a life where your boundaries are always being crossed. There's no clarity in constantly adjusting yourself to meet demands that ignore your well-being. Expectations are endless. If you keep bending to them, you will break. If you keep saying yes out of guilt, you will grow resentful. But if you start choosing what honors your mental space, your days will begin to change. You will begin to breathe easier, feel lighter, and live more honestly. Every time you agree to something that clashes with your peace, a piece of you grows silent. That voice inside that wants to rest, to heal, to reflect, to enjoy, it goes quiet. And when you do that too often, you lose touch with what brings you true meaning. You start operating on autopilot, fulfilling roles instead of living as a full human being. Mental peace isn't about escaping life, it's about finding balance within it. It's about not losing yourself in the process of trying to meet every demand placed on you. You are allowed to step back when the world pushes forward too fast. You are allowed to pause when everyone else wants you to run. You are allowed to choose solitude, reflection, and simplicity when chaos becomes too loud. The people who truly care about you will understand that your peace is not a rejection of them. It's an act of self-care. And those who don't understand were never thinking of your well-being to begin with. Choosing peace means learning to say no without apology. It means leaving a conversation when it becomes toxic. It means canceling a plan when your body says it's too tired. It means being honest when you need space. It means trusting your inner cues more than you trust outside pressure. That's strength. That's maturity. That's wisdom. Many people live with constant anxiety because they are always performing, always trying to impress, always trying to meet a standard that keeps moving. The result is emotional burnout and a silent scream for help that no one hears. But the moment you start choosing differently, the moment you decide that your inner state is more important than outside applause, you start reclaiming control. You begin building a life that feels good, not just looks good. Peace is quiet. It's not dramatic. It's not loud. It doesn't always give you the thrill of approval, but it gives you rest. It gives you room to think clearly. It gives you presence. And if you've ever truly experienced mental peace, you know nothing else compares. You stop seeking chaos. You stop confusing stress with purpose. You stop saying yes out of fear. You begin acting from strength, not insecurity. You don't need to earn the right to rest. You don't need to explain why something doesn't sit right with you. If you are constantly tense, irritable, or drained, that is a sign, not something to ignore. Too often we wait for breakdowns before we start protecting our mental health, but you don't have to wait for a collapse. You can start now. You can start today by honoring your capacity, choosing calm, and walking away from anything that threatens your clarity. There's a freedom in deciding you don't need to meet every expectation. There's a power in choosing to be misunderstood for the sake of your well-being. Not everyone will like your decisions. Not everyone will agree with your choices, but you don't need their agreement to live in peace. You need your own approval. You need your own trust. You need to know that you are not betraying yourself for temporary comfort. Some people won't understand your boundaries because they benefited from your lack of them. That's not your burden to carry. You don't owe explanations to those who dismiss your needs. You owe yourself consistency. You owe yourself care. You owe yourself the space to breathe without constantly performing for others. This isn't arrogance. It's emotional intelligence. It's self-preservation. It's growth. Every time you choose your peace, you teach yourself that your inner world matters. You tell your nervous system it's safe to slow down. You show your younger self that you're not repeating the cycle of constant overgiving. Peace is not something you find. It's something you protect. It doesn't come from outside conditions. It comes from within. And it's shaped by your daily choices. You might disappoint a few people when you put your mental health first,
but you'll gain your self-respect. You'll regain your energy. You'll feel like yourself again. And that feeling is worth far more than the temporary approval of anyone expecting you to be everything all the time. Expectations don't have to dictate your life. You get to choose what matters most. And today, let that be your peace.
Number 8. Make time daily to check in with your needs. Every day you live, you carry within you a set of needs. Physical, emotional, mental, that demand attention. It's easy to get caught up in the rush of life. The endless to-do lists, the responsibilities and the expectations from others. When that happens, you forget the most important person you owe care to yourself. Making time every single day to check in with what you need is not just an act of self-love. It is a foundation for a healthy and balanced life. Checking in with your needs means pausing, stepping away from the chaos, and asking yourself the simple questions that too often go unanswered. How am I feeling right now? What is missing in my day? What am I craving emotionally? What does my body want? It's a chance to listen, not just hear. Listening to yourself is a skill that requires practice and patience, but it transforms the way you live. Life will throw demands at you from every direction. The pressure to perform, to be productive, to meet deadlines can make your own needs seem like a luxury or a distraction. But neglecting your needs is like ignoring a warning light on your dashboard. It's a sign that something inside is not right. When you make daily time to check in, you give yourself permission to slow down, to be honest, and to take action before problems grow too big. This practice creates awareness of your energy levels, your emotions, and your mental state. It helps you recognize when you are pushing too hard or when you need to recharge. You become more tuned into your body's messages and less likely to let stress build until it becomes overwhelming. It teaches you that your needs are valid and deserve attention every day, not just when you feel broken or exhausted. You may think that setting aside time for this is difficult or selfish, but the truth is, when you ignore your needs, your ability to show up for others and for your goals diminishes. Self-neglect leads to burnout, resentment, and emptiness. But when you regularly check in, you replenish your strength, build resilience, and grow confidence in your ability to care for yourself. You become your own best advocate. Checking in with your needs doesn't have to be complicated or long. It can be a few quiet moments in the morning or evening. It can be a journal entry, a walk without distractions, or simply a breath where you tune into your feelings. The point is consistency. Doing this every day trains your mind to prioritize your well-being and build a stronger connection with yourself. Sometimes your needs might surprise you. You might realize you're craving rest more than work. You might notice that you're hungry for kindness or encouragement. You might find that your body aches for movement or fresh air. These discoveries are important because they guide your choices and prevent you from falling into patterns that drain you. Your needs are not fixed. They shift and change depending on your life circumstances, your emotions, and your physical state. Making time to check in daily keeps you flexible and adaptable. It allows you to adjust your plans and actions based on what is truly necessary for you, not just what you think should be done. This adaptability is crucial for long-term well-being. Ignoring your needs often comes from a place of fear or guilt. You may believe that if you take time for yourself, you are being lazy or selfish. Those feelings are common but false. Taking care of your needs is the foundation from which you give your best to others. It's the well you draw from to support your family, your work, and your dreams. If the well runs dry, everything else suffers. This daily practice also builds your emotional intelligence. When you understand your feelings and needs clearly, you make better decisions. You communicate more effectively with others because you can express what you want and what you don't want. You set boundaries naturally because you respect yourself. Your relationships improve because you're not constantly running on empty. Checking in with your needs daily creates a habit of self-respect. It's a way to say to yourself, I matter, my feelings and desires matter, my health and happiness matter. This simple truth is powerful and changes how you relate to the world. It gives you strength to walk away from toxic situations and courage to pursue what brings you joy. You might worry that your needs will overwhelm you if you start paying attention to them. You might think you'll discover things that are too hard to face.
But the opposite happens. When you acknowledge your needs regularly, you reduce the power they have over you. You stop pushing them underground where they fester and cause harm. You start healing and growing one step at a time. There is no perfect formula for checking in with your needs. It is personal and unique to you. Some days you might only notice small things like being thirsty or tired. Other days you might confront deeper emotions like sadness or frustration. All of these are signals that guide your self-care and growth. Being honest with yourself without judgment is the key. This practice invites you to slow down and live with intention. It reminds you that your life is not just about doing more but about being more. Being aware, being present, and being gentle with yourself. When you check in daily, you build a stronger relationship with the most important person in your life. It's easy to let days slip by without considering what you truly need. But those days add up. Neglecting your needs repeatedly creates a gap between who you are and who you want to be. It causes frustration and dissatisfaction. Making time every day to check in closes that gap. It keeps you aligned with your true self and your purpose. Your needs are the compass that guides your choices. When you listen carefully, you find clarity on what actions to take and what to avoid. You learn to say no when something harms you and yes when something nourishes you. This clarity frees you from confusion and doubt. It gives you confidence to live authentically. Checking in with yourself daily is an act of courage. It requires honesty and vulnerability. It means facing whatever comes up without running away. It means valuing yourself enough to pause and reflect. This courage builds over time and transforms your entire life experience. You do not have to wait for a crisis to start caring about your needs. You can begin today by setting a simple routine of checking in. Over time, this routine becomes a habit that nurtures your mind, body, and spirit. It becomes the foundation of a healthy and fulfilling life. No one else can do this for you. Others can support you, but only you have access to your inner world. Taking time daily to check in is a gift you give yourself that pays dividends every day. It enhances your well-being, your relationships, and your achievements. The commitment to your needs shows up in how you treat yourself. It influences the choices you make, the people you surround yourself with, and the goals you pursue. When you honor your needs, you create a life of meaning and joy rather than exhaustion and regret. Make checking in with yourself a priority, not an afterthought. It is the foundation of self-care that leads to lasting happiness and peace. Your needs are real and deserve your attention every day without fail. This is how you grow stronger, wiser, and more connected to the life you deserve.
Number 9. Push yourself forward even when nobody believes in you. There will be times in life when the people around you doubt your abilities. They may not see your vision or understand your dreams. Sometimes the silence from others feels louder than any cheer. In those moments, the only person you must rely on is yourself. The power to push forward, to keep moving, comes from deep within. It is your choice to believe in your own strength, even if no one else does. Pushing yourself forward means refusing to let doubt paralyze your steps. It means taking action every day, regardless of how others respond, or whether they show support. This kind of determination is what separates those who reach their goals from those who fall behind. You must become your own champion and your own source of encouragement. When the world doubts you, that's your signal to keep going harder. Self-belief is not always easy to hold on to. It takes courage to trust your instincts and your purpose when nobody else is clapping for you. The voices of criticism, skepticism, or silence can be harsh, but they don't define your worth or your potential. What defines you is your commitment to your journey, your refusal to give up on what matters to you. There will be days when you feel weak and question if you have what it takes. Those days are natural. What makes the difference is what you choose to do on those days. Do you let fear and discouragement stop you, or do you take a deep breath and move forward anyway? Growth happens when you push through discomfort and uncertainty, not when you wait for perfect conditions. Moving forward without validation from others requires focus on your own reasons for pursuing your goals. Your motivation has to come from inside. What you want to create in your life, the impact you want to make, and the person you want to become must be more powerful than any external doubt. When your why is strong enough, obstacles become challenges to overcome instead of roadblocks. Sometimes people don't believe in you because they don't understand your vision. They see only the risks or the difficulties and forget the possibilities. Others might project their own fears or limitations onto you. Recognize this without taking it personally. Their lack of belief is a reflection of their perspective, not your reality. Your task is to keep building your confidence one step at a time. Celebrate small wins. Each time you complete a task, learn something new, or take action, you are proving to yourself that you are capable. These victories, no matter how small, accumulate and strengthen your belief in yourself. Over time, you create an unstoppable momentum. It's important to remember that progress often comes in invisible increments. Others may not notice your efforts or understand your progress because growth is often internal before it shows externally. This is not a reason to slow down or stop. Your commitment must be to your own growth and vision, not to the applause of an audience. There will be moments when loneliness creeps in, when the weight of being the only believer feels heavy. This is where resilience matters most. Resilience is the ability to keep going despite difficulties and discouragement. It's a muscle you build by choosing to act in the face of doubt. With resilience, you become less dependent on external approval and more anchored in your own purpose. Push yourself by setting clear goals that excite and challenge you. Break those goals into manageable steps that you can take consistently. This helps you avoid overwhelm and keeps your progress visible to yourself. Focus on what you can control, your effort and your attitude, not on what others think or say. You are stronger than you realize. You carry within you the ability to adapt, to learn, and to overcome. Trust in your capacity to rise after setbacks. Every obstacle you face is an opportunity to grow your courage and deepen your commitment. Your story will inspire others precisely because you chose to keep pushing forward when it was hard. Sometimes the biggest barrier is your own mind. Negative thoughts and self-doubt can whisper louder than any external voice. Recognize these thoughts but don't give them power. Replace them with affirmations of your ability and purpose. Speak to yourself like you would to a friend who needs support and encouragement. Surround yourself with whatever support you can find, but do not wait for it to start moving. If encouragement is scarce, become your own cheerleader. Write down your reasons for pushing forward. Remind yourself daily why your dreams matter. Use that reminder as fuel to take the next step even when no one else is watching. Success often comes to those who persist beyond the point where others give up. The quiet hours of effort, the unseen work, and the repeated attempts build a foundation no one else sees at first. Your persistence is what will eventually open doors that seemed locked. Keep your eyes on your goal and keep moving with purpose. Remember, belief from others is a bonus, not a requirement. The most important belief is the one you hold about yourself. When that belief is unshakable, no external doubt can break you. Your life becomes a testament to what is possible when you trust yourself and refuse to stop. There will be setbacks. You might fail or fall short of your expectations. These moments are not reasons to quit, but invitations to learn. Every setback carries a lesson that strengthens your resolve. Use failure as feedback, not defeat. Visualize yourself moving forward step by step. Picture the effort it takes and the strength you build with each decision to push ahead. Feel the determination in your body and mind. This mental rehearsal prepares you to act with confidence when challenges come. Your journey is unique. Comparison to others who seem to have support or easier paths is unnecessary.
Whoa.
Your path demands your full attention and your full heart.
Whoa.
When you accept that, you free yourself from distractions and focus on your growth. Make pushing forward a daily practice. Even on days when motivation is low, commit to one small action. Momentum is created through consistent effort. These small pushes add up to powerful progress over time. Belief in yourself grows from doing, not just thinking or hoping. Take action even when the outcome is uncertain. Each step forward builds your experience and your confidence. Over time, uncertainty decreases and your faith in your path grows stronger. Your dreams deserve the effort it takes to keep going. You owe it to yourself to try, to persist, and to prove to yourself that you are more capable than any doubt or disbelief around you. You hold the power to create your future by refusing to be stopped by the lack of belief from others.
Your commitment to pushing forward despite the odds is your greatest strength and your greatest statement to the world.
Number 10. Let your actions reflect how much you matter. Your life is not just about what you say or think, but what you do every single day. Actions speak louder than words because they show the world what you truly believe about yourself. If you want to live a life where you matter, then you have to start living in a way that proves it. Every choice you make, every step you take, should reflect the value you place on your own existence. This is not about ego or arrogance. It is about recognizing your worth and acting accordingly. When you let your actions reflect your importance, you stop settling for less than you deserve. You refuse to accept treatment that diminishes your spirit or compromises your dignity. You make decisions that protect your well-being and push you toward growth. This means setting boundaries with others and saying no when something doesn't serve your highest good. It also means taking on responsibilities that align with your goals and values. Living this way requires honesty with yourself. You must ask yourself daily if what you are doing honors who you are, or if it allows you to be overlooked and undervalued. This self-check keeps you accountable. It's easy to get caught up in routines or the demands of others, but when you pause and examine your actions, you can redirect your energy toward things that truly reflect your worth. Your time is one of your most precious resources. How you spend it reveals how much you value yourself. If you waste time on distractions or things that drain you, you send a message that you don't matter enough to protect your energy. On the other hand, when you choose to invest your time in activities that feed your mind, body, and soul, you demonstrate your commitment to yourself. This can be simple things like reading a book, exercising, or practicing gratitude. These actions are daily affirmations that your well-being is a priority. Physical health is another powerful way to show your self-respect through actions. Eating nourishing food, getting enough sleep, and moving your body regularly are choices that say you care about your future and your quality of life. When you ignore these areas, it's easy to fall into patterns of neglect that undermine your confidence and energy. Your body is your vehicle through life, and treating it with care reflects your inner value. Emotional health also deserves your attention. Taking steps to process your feelings, seek support when needed, and practice self-compassion is vital. You matter enough to face your pain, heal old wounds, and work toward peace inside. These are not easy actions, but they are essential for your growth and happiness. Avoiding emotions or pretending they don't exist only delays your progress and keeps you stuck. Another way to let your actions show your worth is by pursuing your passions. When you spend time on what excites you, you express your unique gifts and talents. This creates a sense of fulfillment and purpose. It also draws positive energy into your life. Following your passion isn't selfish, it's necessary for living authentically. When you neglect this part of yourself, you miss out on the joy that comes from fully embracing who you are. Relationships also reveal how much you matter. Surrounding yourself with people who respect and support you is a direct action that honors your value. If you tolerate negativity or disrespect, you send a message that you don't believe you deserve better. Choosing to step away from toxic relationships, no matter how difficult, is an act of self-respect. It frees you to build connections that nurture your spirit and encourage your growth. Work and career decisions should also reflect your worth. Accepting jobs or roles that don't align with your skills or values can chip away at your self-esteem. On the other hand, pursuing opportunities that challenge and excite you reinforces your belief in your potential. Saying yes to growth and learning, and no to what drains your passion, are actions that confirm you matter in your professional life too. Financial choices can either support or undermine how you value yourself. Managing your money wisely, saving and investing in your future are practical ways to show you care about your life stability. Overspending or ignoring financial responsibility can lead to stress and insecurity. When you act to create financial health, you take control and show yourself that your future matters. Sometimes letting your actions show your worth means stepping out of your comfort zone. Growth rarely happens without discomfort. When you take risks, face fears, and try new things, you prove to yourself that you are willing to fight for your best life. This courage builds confidence and opens doors to new possibilities. Staying in a safe zone might feel easier, but it often leads to stagnation. Your words also carry weight when backed by action. Promising yourself change or improvement means nothing without follow-through.
When you commit to habits or goals, make sure your behavior matches those promises. This builds trust with yourself and strengthens your character. If you notice patterns of saying one thing and doing another, take it seriously. Your actions need to reflect your intentions consistently. Helping others can also reflect how much you matter. When you give time or resources to support someone else, you reinforce your value through generosity. This does not mean sacrificing yourself, but sharing from a place of abundance and strength. Acts of kindness and service enrich your life and remind you that your contribution matters in the world. Listening to your intuition is another powerful action. When you respect your gut feelings and inner voice, you honor your unique wisdom. Ignoring these signals often leads to regret or dissatisfaction. Trusting yourself in decision-making is a clear way to show that you value your own guidance above external noise. Taking time for self-reflection is essential. Regularly examining your thoughts, actions, and feelings helps you stay aligned with who you want to be. This practice might include journaling, meditation, or simply quiet moments of thought. These pauses allow you to course correct and ensure your actions continue to reflect your true worth. Letting your actions reflect your importance means refusing to settle for less in any area of life. It means having the courage to walk away from situations, people, or habits that don't support your well-being. It requires constant self-awareness and willingness to grow. The payoff is a life lived fully and authentically. You matter because you are unique and irreplaceable. Your actions can honor that truth every day. When you move through life with this awareness, you naturally inspire others to see their worth as well. Your example becomes a powerful statement that everyone deserves to be treated with respect, kindness, and love, starting with yourself. Living this way is a lifelong commitment. You won't get it right every time, but the key is to keep trying. Each moment you choose to act in a way that shows you matter, you build a foundation for a stronger and more fulfilling life. This process strengthens your confidence, nurtures your peace, and expands your potential. You are worthy of care, respect, and success. Let your daily actions prove it. When you show up for yourself consistently, you create a life that reflects your true value. This is not just about feeling good, but about making choices that lead to lasting happiness and achievement. The world needs you to live fully and unapologetically. The first step starts with you letting your actions tell the story of your worth. Make that story one of courage, care, and unwavering belief in yourself. When you do this, you open the door to a future where your potential is realized and your life makes a meaningful impact.